Nick Jonas dropped by. Wants to hang out.
What's up?
We got 8
you
million.
guys are my entourage today.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
I'll be your turtle. You can be Minnie Chase. I'll be your turtle. Whatever you need. All right. So we're good to go. We got to talk about the album. November 11th is when it drops. You're super excited.
I am super
I mean,
excited.
you wouldn't be super excited. It'd be awful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
guys, not really excited about this album.
Yeah, it happens sometimes.
Oh, really?
I mean, I've not had that happen, but I've like met with people and been like, "Hey, excited for your records?" Like, not really.
Not really. Who?
All
right,
now you gotta tell us.
Has there ever been a Jonas Brothers song that you were like, I'm not really excited to put this one out?
We did a bunch of songs for a TV show we did with Disney
Mm-hmm.
that we even wrote, but they were like storyline based.
Right.
So not necessarily that I wasn't proud of them, but they were just like out of context. They were ridiculous.
But you're like, hey, I'll take the
Peach
check.
Girl.
I'll take the check.
Yeah.
Why not?
But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it was important for the show to have it, so that's all that matters.
Of course. And we got to talk about the album is going to have a parental advisory sticker on it.
Which I'm excited about.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting this. So he was like, well, you expect a clean album? So what would you say is the first parental advisory album that you purchased?
The first one I purchased?
Yeah.
Oh, tough to say, to remember. I think it was probably like Usher's album.
Okay.
The big one. Was Burn with all that?
Burn, yeah. Was it like
Confessions.
1801, or is that the
1846
tequila?
or-
18
That was a great record. That
I don't
was
remember.
so good.
Okay. So
Yeah, I think that was it.
what would you say was the first curse word you ever said in front of your parents? Speaking of
First
parental
one I ever
advisory.
said in front of my parents?
Yeah. You could say it on the air.
Ass,
It's fine.
I think.
Ass?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh no, I can't believe I just said that.
No, I wasn't really like. It was at a point where it was my brothers had already been saying it for a while, so I kind of like came into it. That was the thing about being like the third born, was I got to do everything and then not have to worry about it because they'd already done it.
You got away. You
The
got away
shine's
with.
gone,
Yeah.
Yeah. You got away with murder all the time.
Exactly, all the time.
And
All
you
the time.
still do, probably.
All the time. Now, speaking of parental advisory, what inspired the pictorial that's behind me right now?
Oh yeah, it's so funny. I'm just like staring right at you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We had the life size. You grabbing your junk.
It's so funny.
What type of underwear were you wearing?
Calvin Klein.
Oh, it's Calvin Klein. Okay, right
Yeah, so it
on.
was inspired by the really iconic Mark Wahlberg shoe.
Okay.
From back in '93 or '4, I think.
Right.
And I just finished shooting this TV show Kingdom, which came out on Wednesday night.
Okay.
And I signed with Wilhelmina Models, and one of the first things they brought to the table was like, hey, Flaunt magazine wants to do this shoot with you, having seen sort of the new physicality you have, and kind of pay tribute to that shoot and just have some fun and get creative. And so we did it. And I don't know, I didn't really expect it to sort of like do what it did.
You
but-
really didn't expect you in your underwear holding your dick
Yeah.
to be big.
Really?
Well, holding my dick to be big. That was- I really didn't expect that.
I didn't expect that.
No, the thing was, I think I've had, like, the transition for me has been over the course of, like, years, like 2
Right.
years now. And I think for a lot of people, like, this is all pretty new information.
Right.
So it's kind of like about educating them. And it's, like, kind of shocking to them like, to see this now. But for me, it seems like it's been pretty natural progression.
Do you feel like, beforehand, before you decided to do your own solo thing, it's very protected. You're able to kind of go out. You're easygoing. You were before I met you before, and it's kind of like you're able to talk more freely now. Do you feel that?
I think it's...
And hold your junk.
Yeah, and hold my gun. Well, it's not so much that there was in certain environments there was sort of some guidelines that we followed and sort of a way that we carried ourselves. But I think it was also just about me being comfortable enough to go there with it and to be as honest and open as I want to be. The deal is that with social media and the world we live in today, if you're not transparent, I think people see through it. And I just kind of wanted to approach it as like what the reality situation is. I'm a 22-year-old guy who's like, just down to have a good time and looking forward to sort of like the next phase of my journey and being more open and honest.
And speaking of questions off limits, so your girlfriend, you guys still together?
We are, yeah.
You still together?
She's here. She's
here.
gonna be
Oh,
there
okay.
tonight.
All right. Is she
Yeah,
getting
'cause
a spa treatment right now at the
I
fountain?
think she is.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're going to Cannes tomorrow because I'm going to sell the show internationally, a TV show Kingdom, with some of my castmates. So she came down here and we're going to split off tomorrow. But yeah, she's happy to be here.
Now, I want you to think about this question as we get into jealous. What's the one thing that Olivia's done to make you jealous?
Well, she never really has done. She's amazing. Never done anything to make me jealous.
Right.
They're just. I think the thing that I've experienced in writing the song and then now I'm talking about it is that for the most part, I feel like jealousy's in your head, right? And it's kind of how you deal with it. And in this situation, she's someone I really care about, and I thought of the worst case scenario. We were out. Someone was staring at her ass for like uncomfortably long. It was too long. Yeah. Next time, no. But I was all hyped up because I was doing all this fight training for the show, and I was like getting frustrated. And then instead of getting frustrated, I just wrote this song instead. And then I realized, you think of the worst case scenario, and usually it can be bad.
Right.
But I think this song provides for an opportunity for guys, because they don't usually talk about it, to be like, everybody gets jealous. It's totally human emotion, but it's not necessarily real.
Do you feel like people try to check you out in public, like try to like get on your nerves and try to want to fight you?
Sporting events, yeah.
Sporting events, they all just kind of want to.
Can be really.
They're like, I'm gonna punch Nick.
It's not so much that, but they are kind of jealous at times,
right.
and they can be really they can be jerks.
Right.
So, but it's actually the tide's turning now, where it's like really it's different.
I don't think anybody's going to mess with you because that you mentioned doing the whole pictorial is similar to Mark Wahlberg. You're like a young Mark Wahlberg. You know what I mean? Like I could see you doing these like action type of movies and stuff like that.
But you got to check out the show because
I will for sure.
Pretty intense.
Now I want to talk about this too. Jingle Ball. I mean, the people were explaining people trying to get a rise out of you, and there's a lot of love here in Miami for you.
I love that.
What are any surprises? Have you thought about doing anything at Jingle Ball? I know we have you hosting. Maybe come out and do a song or two.
Couple ideas.
Okay.
We're gonna play it out, see what happens.
Any plans on touring after you drop this album? Which, by the way, comes out November 11th. November 11th.
We just kind of finished up the first leg of shows for a tour. It's about 12 shows, so it's pretty short. And then we're gonna do LA, New York, and Mexico City coming up here at the end of the month. And then after the record, we're getting all our plans together now. There's a couple projects on the acting side that might happen, and so it's all up in the air, and it's kind of a matter of just seeing where it all goes. But I definitely want to play this record once it's out so that I can hear the fans singing along and get people out to the shows.
Perfect. All right, we're going to talk more with Nick in just a few. And he's hosting the Wi-Fi Countdown later tonight at the Fountain Blue. We're going to be getting pedicures together.
Oh, yeah. And I better be number one on this countdown. I'm going to be very upset.
Oh, here we go. Now just flexing.
I took the red eye.
Now you're flexing. All right, here we go.